The word complex in German is a neutral word. It means structure. So we talk about an apartment complex, or we talk about an airport complex. Complex is simply a structure, but it's loaded with a certain energy. We have complexes because we have experiences in life. At some level, everything that's ever happened to us is recorded within us. It's in our neurology and it's in our behaviors and so forth. Now, many of those things are so unimportant that they don't play a role in our life, but some are going to be important. So, for example, we often talk about the mother complex or the father complex or something like that because our formative experiences, our sense of self, our ego understandings derive from the encounter with those historic figures in our life. So an ordinary person called a parent is often carrying these enormous energies and enormous assignments to sort of tell us what the world's about. And of course they are coming to us out of their wounds and their partiality and their issues as well. And so we're always getting some kind of biased experience of the world through the internalization of those experiences. So if that's fearful or distant or absent or needful or invasive, that becomes part of my psychological history. And I begin to get defined to some degree by that kind of history. And then that history will have a tendency to show up in subsequent relationships. Now, complexes are also positive. If we haven't had some positive bonding experiences in our lives, if people haven't sacrificed their narcissism to take care of us, we wouldn't even be here. But to have had the feeling of being reflected and being positively regarded allows us to bond with others. Otherwise, we would be fearful, always feeling alien and estranged and so forth. Our capacity to care about justice, for example, is the power to experience the other in a positive way as opposed to a hostile way. Our capacity to experience beauty. If every time you heard a piece of music you were shocked in some way, the playing of music would cause trauma in your life. For most of us, it's pleasant and connective because we've had positive experiences with it. So, as Jung pointed out, it's not a problem if we have complexes because history gives them to us. It's when the complexes are operating autonomously and they own us in some way that it becomes problematic. So many times I'm responding to this new moment, this new situation, out of the historically generated issues and values of another time and place, which is why we can get so defensive about certain issues or feel compliant with others, because it's not the present, empowered, conscious individual who was present in that moment. History is present. There was a line in a novel by William Faulkner that said, "The past isn't dead, it's not even past." And what we realize is that the psyche is an historic organ. And there's no past in it. It's all present. So when it's activated, that material takes over this moment, executes its program. And we've long had a recognition of the power of that through truisms of society like count 20 before you say something, because that mood will pass, that energy will pass, or write the letter, but wait a few days before you send it. And you suddenly read the letter, and maybe it was as if it were written by someone else. You don't have those strong feelings anymore. And then you'd say, well, the complex that took over has played out its energy, and it slides back into the unconscious. And so, again, the quality of our consciousness, to some degree, involves beginning to map and become conscious of what complexes show up under what circumstances. Now, all of us have, for example, the famous inferiority complex, because all of us have experienced at some point our incapacity to manage some sort of task or our inadequacy or lack of skill in some area. So that will show up frequently in people's behaviors, and they build their lives around avoiding those areas of trial and so forth. It's a common experience for people to fear public speaking. And you'd say, well, you might say something in private, but why would you not in front of a group of people? And again, what gets complex there, or what gets activated, is that very desperate need inside for the approval of the other. And what if I stand up and they disapprove? Or what if who I am is no longer valued? You don't have that as a conscious thought. That rises from the unconscious, executes its program, and we have the old protective and avoidant behavior. And some people would rather die than stand up and give a public speech. And again, that tracks back to a primal complex. I fear the power that you have, the power of judgment over me. I fear the powers that I continue to transfer from that history into this new moment. And with that, I remain a prisoner of that past. So if I don't become aware of that complex, I will stay stuck in it. It will continue to control a part of my life. It's not only a question of facing our fears, it's about recognizing that so many of them have their energy coming from long ago and far away, and completely discount for that reason the powers, capacities, and summons that we all have in the present.